So you decided to list your home, and your very well-meaning neighbor just told you to redo the kitchen, place all the flooring, and repaint every single room. And your cousin, bless his heart, you should just put in a new deck. Friend, before you spend a dime, I need you to hear this. Hey, I'm Christa Coore-Powell, Atlanta Realtor with eXp Realty, and on this channel, Atlanta Real Estate Insider, I help Atlanta homeowners sell smarter. Today, we're talking about pre-listing repairs, and specifically which ones actually move the needle for Atlanta buyers and which ones are just draining your equity before you even hit the market. Before we get into it, I put together the exact checklist I walk my own sellers through before they spend a dime on repairs. It's called the Atlanta Home Seller Checklist. It covers pre-listing prep, pricing strategy, and what to fix versus skip, all free in the link below. Grab it now so you have it set up while we go through this. Let's get back to it. Because here's the thing. I have walked through so many Atlanta homes getting ready to list, and I've watched sellers pour money into the wrong places over and over again, and then wonder why their number came in, or why the buyer asked for a credit anyway. So let's break this down. We've got 3 buckets. Your girl loves a bucket. Repairs that are non-negotiable, repairs that depend on your situation, and repairs you should skip entirely unless you have money to burn, which if you do, gone. So bucket number 1, non-negotiable repairs, the things you have to do no matter what. So listen, buyers in Atlanta are coming in pre-approved and pre-educated because if they have a realtor like me, I make sure of all of that. They've watched every home tour video on YouTube. They know what deferred maintenance looks like, and their inspection is going to flag everything. So you've got these issues. So if you've got these issues, fix them before you list or price them in consciously. HVAC. If your unit is more than 15 years old and hasn't been serviced in 2 years, get it serviced. A $75 tune and a clean filter prevents a buyer from turning a working system into a $6,000 negotiating chip. Don't give them the ammunition. Roof condition. Atlanta buyers ask about the roof the moment they walk in. Listen, they ask about it the moment they pull up in front of your house, let's be honest. You know, it's year 18 of a 20-year shingle roof. Get a roofer's report. Not necessarily a replacement, a report. $150 to $400 inspection that says 5 years of useful life remaining is worth more than silence on the disclosure. Water intrusion and foundation. Next, let's talk about water intrusion and the foundation. If there's any history of water in the basement, staining on walls or cracks in foundation, I don't care if it's been dry for 3 years, disclose it and address it. One undisclosed water issue can unwind the deal at closing or turn into litigation after, and it's not worth. Next would be safety systems. So think of GFCI outlets near water, because there are code requirements around that. And that's something that will definitely come up on an inspection. Smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detection. These are all really inexpensive things, but they do get flagged on inspection reports. And they make you look like a seller who took care of their buyers are definitely going to notice. So you want to take care of that stuff. Now, the next bucket will be the things that kind of depend on your situation. The it depends repairs. So paint. So here's my honest take. Interior paint is almost always worth it. And especially if your colors are highly personalized. I'm talking that deep burgundy accent wall, a mural. I know the mural's beautiful. Lime green bathroom from 2007. Just neutral it all out. Not necessarily bright white, but maybe grayish or warm neutral. The cost is usually around $2 to $6 per square foot for a whole house, or roughly $4,000 to $10,000 for a standard 2,000 square foot here in Atlanta. Those are all averages, of course. And the return is a listing that photographs really clean and feels move-in ready. Because remember, we're thinking, like, what would new construction look like? Because depending on where you are in the market, that could be some of your competition, right? And so you want to keep that in mind. You want that same level of neutral and clean when people walk. Now, if your walls are in a reasonably neutral palette and in decent condition, and maybe you don't have that extra money to spend, save your money and clean the walls. Buyers know they're going to paint anyway, so don't spend $5,000 for them to repaint if you don't really need to. The next up is something that I think can be up for debate, but I personally have seen this work. Replacing outdated light fixtures yields an average ROI of 150 to 300%, making it one of the easily most profitable pre-listing updates you can make, because buyers heavily prioritize bright modern spaces. Lighting has a psychological impact that can honestly really outweigh a lot of the cost of the goods. So what are some of the best fixtures for you to use to replace for your best return? To see the highest return, I want you to focus your budget on the primary focal points of your home. So you're going to think of like the entryway. This is what's going to set that first impression. So if you can afford to, replace maybe something really generic with a modern statement chandelier, not like 1980s crystal, but something that looks modern and up to date. And if you have a kitchen island, maybe you could swap some basic pendants for on-trend, geometric, or maybe matte black or brushed nickel statement pieces. Those are going to look a little more high-end, a little more interesting, and relatively inexpensive. The dining room. A well-positioned dining fixture is going to anchor the room and can really serve as like a focal point in listing photos, so it looks a little more updated. And then the primary bathroom. If you have those dated Hollywood chrome bulb strips, you're going to want to replace those with something that looks more modern, so like modern vanity lights. Kitchen updates. This one, friend, is the one that people get wrong constantly. A full kitchen renovation before listing is almost never worth it, especially in Atlanta's current market. You spend $50,000 and you're not guaranteed to recoup it in the sale price. What is worth it? Cabinet hardware. A new faucet. Do not rebuild the kitchen. Instead, you want to paint the existing cabinets, maybe swap the outdated hardware for matte black or brushed nickel, and ensure that all the appliances match. A minor kitchen update can recoup, I kid you not, roughly 113% of the cost. So if the countertops are cracked or, your laminate's pulling up, take care of that, of course. Address it. If the appliances are functional but dated, clean them, but you don't need to replace them. Buyers generally want to pick their own age. And listen, this is the one place I actually want you to lean in a little. Curb appeal. Curb appeal is where the real return lives. And most sellers underspend here while overspending inside. So 2 of the highest ROI things you can touch before you list are your garage door and your front entry door. I'm talking up to 268% return on swapping out an old garage door, and over 216% on a new steel entry door. And that's not a typo. Nothing else on this whole list comes close to those numbers. So if yours is dented, faded, or just tired looking, this is where your money goes. Then give it a real landscaping cleanup. Edge the lawn, trim back the overgrown hedges, lay down fresh dark mulch. Dark mulch alone makes everything around it pop. Huge fan of dark mulch. And pressure wash the driveway, the sidewalks, the siding, the brick. It instantly makes the home read as well cared for before a buyer even reaches the front door. And you know what they say about first impressions. You get one chance. And if you've got the budget and timeline, I'll tell you right now, in July 2026, buyers are gravitating towards things like pergolas and low maintenance turf. So listings that highlight that, selling a little bit faster and commanding maybe a 2% price premium. That last one's optional though. The garage door, the entry door, the mulch, and the pressure washing, these are not optional. Do those, put the money towards that first. Now, back inside, flooring. If your hardwoods are original and they just need refinishing, it's usually $3 to $8 a square foot, and it can make a dramatic difference. Refinishing your hardwood prior to listing provides somewhere around 147% return on investment. If your carpet is stained or destroyed, replace it with a mid-tier carpet in a neutral tone. But if the carpet is just dated but clean, just get it cleaned. Many buyers will rip it up anyway to put in their own floors, so don't spend it. Bucket number 3, what to skip? Bathroom renovations. Unless the bathroom is genuinely non-functional, you're missing a toilet or it's broken, you have a broken tile that creates a hazard, maybe something that's going to fail inspection. But do not gut and renovate. Buyers have opinions. They will redo your renovation in 5 years anyway. A clean, functional bathroom beats a brand new bathroom that doesn't match what the buyer would have chosen. Decks and outdoor additions. Adding a deck before listing rarely returns full value. So unless your yard is like a hazard to navigate, focus on what already exists and make it clean and safe. Overstaging with Next up is overstaging with furniture you purchase. If you're working with a professional stager, that's different. They know what they're doing, but going out and buying all your furniture thinking it'll boost your price, that's your personal money subsidizing someone else's home purchase. So here's the real question. Before you spend a single dollar, call your agent. Through your house before you do a thing and tells you exactly where your money has the best return for this house, in this neighborhood, in this market, right? That's what I do for every other seller. That's what your girl does for every seller I work with. Let's talk about strategy, not stress. And listen, if you missed it earlier, grab that Atlanta home seller checklist at the link below. It's the same checklist we walk through, plus the price and strategy piece, so you've got it in hand before you make a single call. Thanks for watching, and make sure you know what the listing's not telling.